What's up? How y'all doing tonight? Hello. Hello, hello. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I'm late. Sorry. It's another one of those days. I was working on just a monstrous thing today. What kills me is that I was like absolutely slamming on it. And yet, and yet. It feels crazy to make just shitloads of progress on something and still not be near the end of that road. I can't get over this album, man. It just fucking rips. So what's happening? Fucking hell. Get it. Nice, Dim. Good luck. Cover letters. That's a bunch of bullshit. Oh, hell yeah. Tower Dad squirted me out. Sorry, Noun. Punks. What's up, dude? Thank you for 84 months, man. It feels weird to code so much that like my wrists and arms hurt. That seems extreme. That seems like a bit much, you know? That might be a little bit much. Nice. Oh, yeah, yeah. I've seen you reporting in there. Or somebody was. Was it you? Let me see. I think it was you. Or was that? Scremidae? Yeah. I'm jealous. I can't touch either of those for many months yet. But I saw you in there and I was just like, ugh. I mean, that's good news to me, but also it's terrible news to me. Terribly good news. Ah, yeah, that makes sense. I'll be looking to you to guide me on my list for this year. But yeah, I've just been going hard at the work. And I don't know, it is what it is. I was telling Nakomi that basically I've just been like, it's like I'm maintaining a sort of minimum level of burnout at all times. That's how I operate. Yeah, it's tough to like know when to fucking call it, you know? My problem right now is just that there's a lot of shit that needs to get done, and I feel like if I don't do it, it won't get done. I don't know. I don't know how else to look at it, you know? It's tough. Tough, tough, tough. I don't know why I'm doing this, but I kind of feel like drawing, which is probably not going to be any better for my wrists, my hands and wrists and arms. I also kind of don't feel like drawing. I feel extremely rusty. It's been so long now. There went the tone arm. Gotta flip that disc. I'm not even really. I don't know. Maybe I'm lying to myself. I don't. I don't know, man. I'm not a workaholic exactly. I enjoy what I do. Usually. Excuse me. I mean, sometimes it's not great. But I feel like I'm making a logical decision in terms of the fact that, like, I know what the timeline is for things, you know? Actually, one thing I do have a problem with, if it can be, well, I guess it's a problem. I have like, I feel intensely responsible when I make a call and it's wrong. And I feel like it's going to cause like time issues. So I feel like I have to amend it by giving up my own time. I think that's really the core of my issues. I'm the higher up. That's usually the situation. So I've often said that like no one's like forcing me to do what I'm doing when I'm like really going hard on stuff like this. Uh, what's typically happening is I am just making the call for myself. Like we have a sort of delicate balance of we work with clients and clients don't necessarily have the timeline that we have, right? They have their own desires. And then we have our timelines like of how much stuff we can feasibly get done, right? And so what happens is that sometimes shit just gets out of balance. Yeah. And you know, sometimes that is very directly my own fault in terms of like I'll be the one who determines like this is how long a particular project's going to take or is supposed to take, you know. Um well, I was kind of just having fun sketching here and then all of a sudden I'm not. My mouse just decided to like pin itself. Oh, I set the pen on the tablet. That would do it. But it was fucked up before I did that. Chat GPT would not really help with what I do, I don't think. No, I'm not sharing right now. Not sharing what I'm doing. Cuz I said as I said I feel extremely rusty cuz I haven't done anything for a long time. So nothing I'm doing is worth looking at. Nothing I'm doing is anything I want to share. What's the brain worm? Uh, it's 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 not something to bring up to anybody. There's basically me and somebody else who have anything to do with like time. Um, and it's more like, how do I explain it? It's more like damage control. I mean, there is definitely an aspect of like we have too much shit on our plates. I mean, look, it's the whole thing is I've had that for forever. Like I struggle to have people observe me drawing because I'm really particular about it myself. And if I'm not happy with where it's going, I get extremely self-conscious very easily. I don't even know what exactly. I don't have like a direction that I'm drawing either. I'm like drawing hands. I guess I'm trying to prove I'm not an AI to myself. I can do it. I can't, as I'm rapidly rediscovering. Hands are nightmares. They're weird spiders on the ends of on the tips of our meat. Weird meat spiders that we all have. So yeah, the arrangement is basically there's two of us that do like, biz dev, scoping, resourcing, planning, and then I'm still actively doing, billable hour type stuff. And so in some sense, I'm kind of the one that's making my meal and then eating it with a lot of this stuff. And there's nobody to blame but myself. The company isn't like, hey, burn the fuck out. Like, if anything, I would say that perhaps biz dev is going too well for our capacity. It's probably a bit of what it is. A lot of biz, not enough time. But we're working on that, hiring and so forth. So I'm trying to keep things from turning into like I'm trying to put out fires before they become wildfires. Is basically what I've been doing. Yeah. Well, so we had a more manageable load at that time. So overall things were definitely more chill. And things definitely have become less chill. I'm just explaining like the present day, like why it is this way. We lost some people. The structure of things kind of changed. Oh yeah, I keep communication up, but so it's a mix of like I try to mitigate certain things on my own, but I also communicate when it's like when my efforts have not successfully panned out. You know what I mean? Like, so if it's still going to affect the timeline, then I will, you know, I'll wave a little flag like, hey, we need to rearrange some things if this is going to happen, blah, blah. I'm just trying to make it clear that, like, what I'm doing, I am doing to myself. Nobody's doing this to me. Well, I care a lot about the other devs and stuff. And so that's another driving factor, is that I don't want, particularly if it's a fire that I set, I don't want it to spread to anybody else. And everybody's overloaded a little bit, so I don't want anything else to fall on them if I can help it. I do get to hire and have. And the trouble with choosing workload is the factor that I was mentioning of that we work with clients. We're not like just working on whatever we feel like. There's a sort of delicate balancing act. Like, we can push and pull, but we can't really dictate. Does that make sense? Like, you can communicate with the client, and sometimes things can slide around, sometimes there's some flexibility. And so the needle that we have to thread is to figure out, like, what things are flexible, what things are inflexible, how does this all fit together like a big puzzle to where we get it all done. and with the least suffering. Okay, so with taking on work that we have less control over. We have, because like I said, there's two of us that are sort of the front line. We have vehemently raised this. So that has happened. That's the one piece where, yes, there is some place above to bark towards. And we have been. And it's just a slow to change sort of thing. But we have a hire coming in, and that should help. And then we have another hire that might be game changing. And in fact, well, I always speak vaguely about this stuff because, you know, online you really shouldn't speak candidly about, at least not in extreme detail, about any of this sort of stuff. But we have someone potentially coming in that could set us on a whole new track. So my mentality has been that I'm just trying to keep the fires as low as I can in the meantime until we get kind of through this rocky period. It's somebody who is a seasoned veteran in what we do. And I'm experienced, but I'm not a seasoned veteran. No. No. Very much the other way around. Very much the other way around. I'm actually pretty excited because if this comes to pass, this would be somebody who I'd be able to learn a shitload from, and I would love that. I'm very excited about that. Oh boy, punks. Uh, yeah. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, that's almost what I wanted to say, word for word. But yeah, it's absolutely somebody who would be able to be a guiding hand in what we're doing, and would absolutely help to alleviate a lot of our current issues. You got to put food on your bar. It feels so weird, like feeling like I almost know how to draw. It really evaporates quickly if you're not using it, I find. Or that's how it is for me. Whenever I'm off of it for a while, I become this person who used to know how to draw. That's what always happens to me. Nah, trouble with Undo Crew was that it was a basically impossible mixture of schedules. We're trying to bring together a bunch of people who all have somehow opposite schedules uh, across the planet, and that was, it was eventually going to unravel. We could have foreseen this from the beginning. Yes, all the $0 from Magma Studio. There it went. You know, I think if I want to maintain any drawing ability, I need to go back to basics in a big way. Like life drawing probably. I'm fucking garbage with anatomy. I've been watching a lot of Drawfee. And just the ease with which they slap out really good looking like characters and stuff like that. It's hard to watch. Like in a good way. I mean, obviously they're just very good and they draw all the time and they're basically professionals, but boy oh boy. I wish that I could draw. I only took one life drawing class ever. I don't think I would take another life drawing class. I think I would just like... I need to do like anatomy exercises. Just find a bunch of photos of poses and then just basically do the life drawing thing based off of that. I was always bad at the basics. I was always bad at the technique. I like didn't have time for it, you know. Didn't have the patience. I just wanted to get out there and do stuff. I feel like, I don't know, my job has kind of sapped all of my energy for projects. Not my desire, but like fucking when. You know, it's like that seems poisonous to me now, I guess. Where I don't even want to think about that sort of thing right now because it's like it just brings me pain. Yeah, I don't know. In certain contexts, when I'm just drawing to be funny, somehow that seems to be like it just comes easily. And that's probably just because I'm not really taking it seriously. And I don't really care about the proportions or the anatomy or the whatever. It's all just trying to come up with a funny idea and then just draw it out.
that snaky boy.
Radaman. Thank you for 2 years. Life drawing, but it's all Mr. Bean. It's all Mr. Bean poses. Hyperfixating, yeah. Perhaps. One thing that I've always had trouble wrapping my head around in my life is that I've had a lot of things that have been inspirational in art that I like want to emulate, or often I just find myself wishing that I could have that sort of thing myself. When I was a kid, I got really into the Ninja Turtles comics. I really liked those a lot. The visual novels, the Eastman and Laird stuff, the darker, more adult Turtles, which was a much more like gritty, cool comic. You know, it just had that. It was more like comic-y, I guess. Just, you know, it was like art. And I drew the turtles all the time. And I did get pretty good at drawing the turtles. I could probably bang out a pretty good Ninja Turtle still. But there was that obsession with those characters, you know, and that's what led to getting quite good at rendering them. They're kind of funny characters to draw because they're such a weird mix of anatomy. They're really more like they're like people wearing costumes in a lot of ways. Because they have human musculature. They have very human ass legs and arms. They don't really become turtles in the legs and arms, in the limbs area, until you get to the ends of the limbs, when they've got the weird three-toed, three-fingered hands. I said that weird, but you know what I mean. Or actually just two toes, right? They have just two toes? Yeah, two toes, three fingers. And then their whole torso is sort of a turtle. They've got that kind of weird front, like, chest piece. And then obviously a turtle shell. And then their heads are pretty fucking weird. They don't really strike me as turtle heads, though, I would say. Their heads are really simple and not very turtle looking. Well, not in an obvious way, anyhow. I was always a Michelangelo fan personally. I don't know why. I think just because he was like optimistic and fun. Unfortunately, you have to be kind of good at anatomy to draw even a Ninja Turtle. Got to make sure I delete all of these forever. Again, though, like in the Eastman and Laird comics, they didn't have such extreme personalities in that way. Not like the cartoon version of the Turtles. I mean, a bit, but it was really blown out in they're already gone. See, it was really blown out in the cartoon because that's what you have to do to make content for kids. It has to be like really over the top. But in the comics, they're much more. I don't know. They seem more human, personality wise, more level headed. They still have their like core personality stuff of being like Raph's sort of like a moody dickhead. Mike's a goof. Leo's sort of goody two shoes, teetotaler type, and Don's a nerd. Like I absolutely voraciously consumed Kill 6 billion Demons, and I'm just so it's weird feelings that I have when I get into something like that I enjoy so much. I enjoy it so thoroughly, and how it makes me like jealous, and it makes me feel bad. Just like this was a trajectory that I always wanted to be on. I wanted to tell stories and just keep going further and further with my art, and then I just didn't do that. I just couldn't. Like I don't know if I just don't have any stories in me, I guess. Cuz I've never really been able to think of a good story to tell. And I don't know how people do. I certainly don't know how anybody comes up with something like Kill 6 billion Demons. I feel like you have to be a literal prodigy to come up with a story like that. It's insane. What was the one snapper turtle dude called? I don't remember. Yeah, but like artist block for my whole life though. Oh yeah, Slash. I think it was Slash. I don't know if Slash shows up in the Eastman and Laird comics or not. I think he might have only been in like the kids one. Oh yeah, no, the movies did what movies always do and got shit wrong. I feel like Slash is kind of funny because Slash isn't really like it's a weird character because he's a fucking Ninja Turtle, and yet treated as like like an extra. It's like, dude, this is a fifth Ninja Turtle. What's going on here? Aren't we here for Ninja Turtles? What the fuck? What the fuck? It may be that I have like a perfectionist problem at my core, and not in like a self-aggrandizing way, but meaning more like actually, it comes up a lot in programming in my life. I've talked about this before, where it's like it's not perfectionism in that I'm literally trying to make things perfect because I think I'm so great or something. It's perfectionism in that I always feel unconfident in everything that I do. Like one of the problems that I have talked about before and often have when I set out to do something that I haven't really done, I run into this like when I've experimented with making games, I get really locked up in this sort of mental jail of like, am I doing this the right way? Am I doing this the way that it's supposed to be done? And not like in a prescriptive, like there's some rule set out there. But like I find myself wondering how things are done correctly and not being able to know because it's not a thing that exists. Not in the way that I'm thinking about it. It's a fictitious thing that I'm just like getting stuck in. It's like quicksand. Yeah, like a best way. Yeah. Like, and I know very well obviously that like it's the better approach is to just get in there and do things and not worry about whether you're doing stuff right or wrong or whatever. But it's just a trap that I often fall into, and it gets me every time. And it's not just programming; it's everything. It's like drawing, it's story writing, and I think that's why I was thinking about my sources of inspiration as well, because I'll look at something like I mentioned, Kill 6 Billion Demons, where in my mind I have that up on this pedestal of like that, like I said, like it seems like a super genius is what it takes to come up with such a story and to come up with such art. Um, and I set that off in the distance as like an unachievable goal that I can never get anywhere near. You know, Oh, I think maybe that's also some to some degree possibly related to why I throw myself into my work to some degree, because I think it's one area where I know I excel at what I'm doing and I understand what I'm doing and I know how to do it right and I don't experience those feelings. And I think that it's like I'm running from those feelings. I think that that's a surface level take, and I would just discard that point of view now. I don't think it's narcissism. I think it's just like more like a quirk. It's like a mental trap. But that is why I disclaimed it so much. I didn't want to describe myself as a perfectionist and then come off sounding, egotistical. But it certainly depends on like what you're engaging in, I guess, right? If it's at the expense of other people that you're working with or something like that, then yeah, maybe. Maybe in that case. Oh. Well, at any rate, I should probably fuck off out of here, I'd say. I need to recover. But sorry for, everything. uh, I miss Zelda. I want to play Zelda again. I was hoping to tonight, but I couldn't pull myself away from just trying to get a little bit further with that shit. Yeah, yeah. You guys have a good night. I will see you tomorrow. No promises this time. Have a good one.